All right. Now there's a B part to it as well, isn't there? So let's look at B. So again, we're going to have to make our, hold on, let me just get my colors correct. So we're going to have to get our, right? So we get the crosshairs. No, this guy's in the way, so I have to move him. Okay. All right, so this is my B. Put back the B. All right, so, and put another N here and another N here. Okay, so now we have our, we have two situations going on here. So we're basically solving two problems. Okay, so what should I do if I want to find the bearing of A from B? Tell me, who can tell me what steps I should take? What should I do at this point if I want to find
180 minus 116.
180? Well, why would I do that? Why would I subtract 180 from 115? What would I be looking for? Are you trying to tell me to find the angle here or the angle here? Because you know that with parallel lines, once they have a transversal, like in this case, this line is like would be the transversal, and this line are parallel, right? And this line and this line are parallel as well, but these are the important ones for bearings. These vertical lines, pay attention to them. And so let me even make it easier. I won't draw it that way. I'll draw it the way it's seen right now. So if you have these two parallel lines and you have a transversal, now when you draw that transversal line, you form angles. You form some angles here, an angle here, an angle here, and an angle there. And I want to do it twice. So let me put a next one here. So I want to make a point. So in the first case, right? In the first case, we have something that looks like, let me just use a different color. So in the first case, we have something that looks like this. Well, that looks a lot like that, right? And but we have an angle here. Now these are called, let me write it down for you. These are called interior angles, right? And with interior angles, this alpha, let's say this one we'll name beta. With interior angles, if they add up to 180. Okay, so they always add up to 180. Okay. And then there's another set of angles that appears. We have this one here. Right now. So we have this angle right here, and we have this angle here. Does anybody know what these are called?
Exterior?
Not exterior. It would be a good idea to call it exterior. But these ones, if you notice them, they're alternating. So they call them alternate angles. But good job with the idea of exterior. Definitely there are exterior angles, but we're not concerned with that until we get to something called circle theorem. And so with these now, if I label them alpha and beta again, say I label these alpha and beta, well, what you need to know is that in this case, they're equal. So the goal now is to decide what are you going to use to answer your question. The first thing I wanted you to know to do is deal with the bearing of A from B. How do I represent that? How would I show that I'm finding the bearing of A from B? I'll give you 5 seconds for somebody to respond. Okay, we would start from the north of this B line, and we're going to rotate clockwise because that's the rule, and we're going to rotate toward A. So this is what we're looking for. That's the rotation we're looking for in both of these cases. So that's what I expect to see from you when you're solving this second one, okay? All right. Next step. Did you notice that this is an incomplete circle, the incomplete rotation? So what is a full rotation again?
360.
360. So I would have to, I have to put my 360 down again. And why would 360 become important right now? Why would I need to know about the 360?
So you want to find the bearing of A?
Yes, you want to find the bearing of A. Very good. From B. All right. So because of that, I want to find this angle here, but to do that, I would need to know this angle right here. I would have to know that angle, or else I can't discover this angle. So to get to this angle, what will I do to get to this angle? What do I need to do? What method are you going to use to get to that, to find the value of that missing angle? Okay. Like we try for this one, this first one, let's try to use interior angles, right? And then for the second one, we'll use alternate angles, okay? So I'll give that to you right now. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. In this one, we're gonna use interior angles. Then you decide for your assignment which one you like the best, which one you're gonna use, okay? So if we use interior angles, what do I need to do for the first one?
Sir, will you carry 115 down?
Like move it across?
Yes, sir.
No, I'm gonna use this idea right here, that these
100.
two angles should add up to 180. So this one and this one should equal 180. How can I figure that out?
180 minus 150.
115
Okay,
degree.
all right. So 180 minus 115, that gives me, let's borrow, gotta borrow. I know in life you'll be like, man, I don't want to ever borrow
Six.
money, but sometimes you gotta borrow. So here we borrow, and we get 65. Okay, so we found the missing angle. Now, but are we done?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what do we need to do now?
365, 60 minus 65.
Yep, that is correct. All right, so in this case, we're going to borrow from here. Turn this into a 16. Borrow again, turn into a 15. 10. What plus 6 would give me 15?
9.
Sir, the answer is 295.
9, okay. 295.
Yes, sir.
All right, so 295 is the bearing. 295. All right, so we found, so who would like to attempt to read this, bearing this for B?
The bearing of A from B is 295 degrees.
Very good. And your name is?
Delaney.
Selene. Okay, Selene, good job. All right, let's move on to the next one. We're going to use a different method to reach here. We're going to use alternate angles. So someone guide me through the steps I need to take. If I'm using alternate angles, if I'm using this one. See how I highlighted those two angles right there? Because they're going to be equal.
235, sir.
Let me go back a little bit. I'm highlighting these angles right here because they go along with alternate angles, right? So it has, so your answer will have to involve this 125. You're not going to be so you have to think about it. How do I get this angle here? How will I find this little angle right here? Because if I find it, then I'll know this angle due to the rule here.
180, sir.
Hmm?
Minus 25.
Okay, 125, but what's the math I should do to get to this angle? What steps should I take?
Minus 180.
Yes, okay, I agree. 180, take away what?
125.
Very good. 125. Who's talking to me right now?
Yes, sir.
Edras? Okay, keep going. What? Okay, so I'll do the working here. 7, carry the 1, so 5 and 5. So we get
Right.
55, right? And you could end up check that that's correct by just adding 55 plus 125 gives you 180. All right, so it works in both directions. So this is 55 here. Okay, now what do we do next?
360 minus 55.
360 minus 55 degrees. Okay. And that would give me, this is going to be 5, 10.
305.
Okay, 305 degrees. Very good. All right. Go ahead, Edras, can you read this last one for us before we close off for this session?
Bearing of E from B, 350 degrees.
300
305 degrees.
Aha, okay, very good. All right, guys, take a screenshot quickly because I'm going to stop sharing.